Here we are sitting on the ground in Microsoft Flight Simulator at Helisika base made by Lucid Kiwi, which is available on flightsim.2. This is the new Shrike 530F, now available for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So it's good to see a bit of competition to the CounSim one. This is just something different to play with. It's very similar. There's a few subtle differences with the external model, like we've compared it in the sim very close as we could to the CounSim one. The fuselage on this is slightly narrower. I don't know whether it looks a little bit more. I don't know if there's a subtle difference between the 530F and the 500E in real life, or whether the fuselage uses the same shape, but it looks, something about it looks slightly better sitting on the ground, I think, just because it slopes back a little bit more how it sits on the ground, which is, of all the photos I've looked at online, it seems to be a little bit more accurate. The rotors or the blades themselves are probably a little bit on the over large size when compared to like the CounSim or photos I've seen online. They're only just a little bit, you don't see them once they're spinning. The lower wire strike kit there, you'll see it's not quite as long as what they normally are. Like the CounSim one's a lot more accurate in length there. It's good to see it's got a cargo hook underneath, which hopefully we'll be able to use one day in Flight Sim, and that hopefully they'll add that capability. The model overall is excellent, really well done, very high attention to detail with like the modelling and that on it, like all the rivets and the doors and the hinges and that. Very similar sort of, I guess, spec level to the CounSim, except this is a bit cheaper than the CounSim one, so you're getting excellent value for money with it. And we'll go put it through its paces shortly. It's got good startup and shutdown sounds. As still yet with Microsoft Flight Sim, the sounds in the replays are not. It doesn't seem to sort of really show off how good it could be. Other than that, yeah, it's really good model. If you like the 500s, you won't be disappointed in having a play with it. Right, we'll just jump in the cockpit, and we'll do a startup here, so you can hear the startup sounds. So we'll get the battery on. It's in. Keys on. And hit the start button. Get the wines and fuel on. The auto start seems to throw the generator in too soon. Outside again. And this is another thing I've noticed. I haven't really noticed it doing it much in the CounSim one, but the guy, your little pilot dude, moves. You can move all the controls on that. So if I pull up on I've not actually got the collector hooked up yet because I haven't jumped in the sim, but yeah, so you'll see it if you're in the external view. His hands will go up and down, and his feet will move on the yaw pedals. Right, and we'll probably get in the sim and we'll go put it through its paces. Okay, here we are sitting in the simulator now in the VR. We're going to take off and put this thing through its paces. We'll do some tests with it. Just turn the generator on. I'll shut the door. So we're sitting on the dolly now. Right, let's get going. So you've probably seen I've used this in the last couple of videos, but I haven't really done a full test of it. So it's definitely easier to fly than the CounSim one and the hover and ground effect. The CounSim one is very twitchy, but like I've said before, I don't know of the two which one is the most accurate. if you're learning to sort of get your head around or handling of helicopters in the sim, well then I would say this one is probably a bit easier one to start on. It's definitely a little bit more forgiving. So we'll just do some takeoffs and landings and approaches onto the different spots at the base here, and weather's pretty good today, so there's not much wind to worry about. And we'll have a go at an auto rotation, but I have already tried to do a couple of auto rotations in it, and it doesn't do them well. The needles don't split for a start. Just start nose diving, and you pretty much just start dropping like a brick without actually being able to have. Even if you keep up like over 60 knots, it doesn't seem to affect it. Just seems to go straight down. We'll have a go at one just so you can see what I mean. It may do them, but I haven't had much luck at getting it to do it set up nicely into one. So we'll take off again. So we'll do some high speed approaches and landings just onto the grass bit there in front of the concrete. Take off out of here. Come around out over this fence over here and we'll turn around. We're just going to keep these real short approaches, just come around. Just for more the approach and landing and takeoff handling of it. In flight it feels very similar to the Cowan sim itself. Alright, settle down there. Right, well we'll do a back out approach this time, so we'll just lift up. And we'll start backing out, get up a bit of speed, and then we'll run around and we'll go this way. We'll go back to this fence again, and then we'll do another high speed sort of approach, but we'll try maybe and land on the dolly at the end there this time by the other little hangar, just something a little bit different. Just stopped a little bit short there, so we have to move forward to get over it, which is not really ideal. Right, so now what we'll do is we'll do some, we might do a towering takeoff out of this one, so I'll keep looking down as we take off to get up. We'll clear the hangar and we'll fly out over the windsock, out over the car park, and we'll come in from the western side there and do a 180 degree fast quick stop down onto the grass where we landed last time, and then we'll do another one from the other way, so we'll get off. It's quite tricky just looking just out the side because you haven't got any actual physical feel of which way you might be moving, so you're just going at what you see at the side. I've got the door shut too. Right, we'll move out of here and go around behind these trees, which you'll probably notice the trees are quite large. That's because I've got just the default trees in at the moment. I haven't put I've taken my small trees mod out, which is available on Flight Sim.2. That's, I think it's Shrike NZ or Shrike Studios or something it's made. It just makes a lot of the default trees a lot shorter than what they are by default, which makes it easier to see some of the scenery. And I've taken it out so that I can adjust my scenery that I've been building to match the default stuff, because not everyone's going to be having the small tree mod. But if you want more realism for the New Zealand stuff, definitely run the small tree mod for like a lot of places, especially towns and things. So right, let's get onto this approach. Not quite hanging up with its tails hanging off the back, so we've got plenty of tail rotor clearance to back out of here, and then we'll go around and come in from the other way. We'll do a left hand one. The reason for the tall trees is
if I don't make my scenery with the default trees running, and only my small tree mod, some of the big trees can actually overcrowd my little areas if I haven't chested them, so I'm just building it all to be compatible with the default scenery, in case that's what a lot of people are running. So you probably wouldn't be able to get into some of the helipads with the big trees on if I didn't make it work with them. Oh, I messed up that. I was supposed to do it. I will just do a high speed fly past here. I messed up where I was actually supposed to be coming from. I was going to do a 180 around the back of that small hangar. So we'll come around tight here. So we'll come down across the car park here. And around this hangar and onto the... Just a little bit aggressive there, so I had to pull it up a bit sharp. Right, we'll do a 90 one from coming from the west, and then we'll have a go at an auto rotation. So usually if the wind was blowing from this way, you'd probably have to come in from here, I'd imagine, and turn into the right. We'll mess that up, we were way too hot coming in then. We'll do one more of those just so we can do a nicer one. That was definitely a bit hot. But yeah, this thing is so it's a good fun machine to fly. Just a lot like the Counsims, but for those that are a little bit new to helicopters in the sim, it's probably a little bit more forgiving when it comes to like the flare and the landing and the hovering. Probably a little bit hot again, but might not be too bad if I can just stop it here and turn. These are extremely aggressive approaches. I'll try something different here before we do our auto rotation. I'm just going to pick up here. This is something you might be able to practice if you download the scenery from offlightsim.2, made by Lisa Kiwi. This table has got a collider on it, so you can try doing like resting one skid on it type thing, as though you're doing a pickup off a rock face or something. Mess that up, I'll come back around again. It's the collider's fairly tight to the centre of it, I think. It's good practice for just looking at an object on the ground and not looking at the horizon. Practicing something I need to practice quite a bit of, obviously. Got it there now. So yeah, you can sort of sit it there, and you can practice doing either skid. It's definitely easier with the pilot side one on. Alright, and now we'll quickly shoot out, do an auto rotation, and then land back on the dolly, and we'll call that it for this video. But overall, yeah, if you enjoy flying the 500, it's definitely a good asset for the sim. And like I said earlier, I think it's definitely cheaper than the Counsim one. Definitely a little bit easier to handle in some respects, especially close to the ground. But all in all, it feels very similar throughout the flight, like when you're flying along, basically. Let's get a bit of height up here, so Yeah, every time I've tried this so far on this, it hasn't seemed to react well with an auto rotation. We'll go past those trees and we'll turn around and come back. I know auto rotations could take place anywhere in any stage of flight, depending on if there's an engine failure or something goes wrong, but I'm going to try and give this the best possible chance to perform well this time, but it hasn't done so in all the ones I've tried previously, so we'll just turn off the governor. Oh, my controller's died, so I'm just going to have to go for a little bit further flying yet. Turn my controller back on. Okay, governor off. Roll the throttle. See, the needles are not really... It comes down quick, but the needles don't split as such. See, that was probably... It handled the best that time, so maybe I was rusty on my auto rotations and it wasn't the helicopter. But yeah, the first couple it definitely just dropped out of the sky, but we'll see if it... maybe we'll try another one since we're here. Governor on. Governor off and roll the throttle to idle. Better slightly nose high attitude in that one too, so the RPM dropped off quicker. A bit harder that time. Way too much speed on too, but that's what I think it doesn't seem to like that splitting the needles on the yeah, there's something, obviously it's just a bug with it. Anyway, we'll take off and we'll land back at the dolly and we'll call that it for this video. Right, up to RPM, we'll go. A little bit crooked here. I'll just turn us a little bit. There we go. And that's us. We'll call it there and we'll catch you on the next one.